Have you ever pondered why certain individuals chosen by destiny seem to navigate life independently while others seem to find companionship easily? Dear chosen one, your singlehood is not a burden or a penalty. It is a celestial design. This period of being on your own is not life passing you by. It is a higher force pulling you forward. There is a unique quality about you, something sacred that requires safeguarding. Often, this protection appears as solitude, patience, and separation. The truth that many hesitate to share is that what feels like a void is actually a divine act of creating room within you. Room for wisdom, for strength, and for a purpose so significant that an ordinary connection couldn't support it. Relationships formed outside heavenly timing are not merely diversions. They can gradually deplete your destiny until you awaken years later, questioning why your inner light has faded. But you were never meant to dim. You were destined to shine brighter than those around you. That is why your singleness is not rejection. It is refinement. It's a hidden training ground where you are prepared to ascend to levels of influence that many won't ever experience. So accompany me, as in the coming moments, I'll unfold why chosen ones often walk alone, why you are kept hidden, and why your current silence is not a penalty but a step toward greater things. Every insight I'll share will peel away the layers until you clearly understand that this period isn't about holding you back. It's about urging you ahead. Before we delve deeper, I invite you to embrace this message with an open heart. Welcome each lesson from chosen by God as gentle guidance, ensuring you never miss the wisdom offered to light your path. Reflect quietly to affirm that you are seen, adored, and individually pursued. Now, let us begin. Being single does not imply you have been passed over. It does not suggest you are trailing behind, and by no means does it mean you are incomplete. For those chosen by fate, singleness holds a much more profound significance. It represents separation, a sacred distinction, a season intentionally crafted by higher powers to draw you away from the multitude. This isn't because you are unwanted, but rather because you hold something precious that must not be revealed prematurely and must be safeguarded at all costs. Consider those moments when you felt out of sync, even in the company of many. Those occasions when you smiled amid laughter, yet deep inside, you sensed a disconnect from that rhythm, that noise, that atmosphere. What you were experiencing was not merely loneliness, it was a divine message softly saying, "You have been set apart." Society often views being single as an absence, as though without a partner you are somehow deficient. But a higher perspective defines it differently. To be separated is not to be void. It is to be set aside. Set aside for a mission that cannot be diluted by unsuitable ties, negative influences, or improper timings. If your calling is remarkable, how could your journey ever resemble the ordinary? Here rests a misunderstood truth. Separation often confuses others. They might look at you with sympathy, questioning why you have not yet found someone. They might project their uncertainties onto you, as if your life is somehow lacking in the absence of a partner. However, they fail to realize that you are not waiting for someone to make you whole. You are being shaped by the one who crafted your essence. Each day of your single life gradually completes you, fortifying you, refining your vision. Chosen ones cannot afford to expend emotional energy on relationships not aligned with divine intent, because every mismatch isn't merely a time loss, it's a clarity loss, a focus loss, a momentum loss. That is the reason why divine forces keep you separate. What may appear to be closed opportunities, unanswered messages, or failed relationships is, in fact, a protective hand guiding you, shielding you from outside influences and fortifying your purpose. But let's delve deeper. Separation is not merely about keeping you away from others. It's about drawing you nearer to your true essence. In times of separation, you can discern the divine whispers more clearly. Signs that might have been previously overlooked become evident. You perceive the true intentions behind people's actions. not because you are distrustful, but because you are being attuned for a higher purpose. During these quiet times, your spiritual vision is widened. What seems imperceptible to others becomes undeniable to you. This is often why those who are chosen may find social settings challenging. It's not due to shyness or a lack of sociability, but rather because they feel the weight of an unfit alignment. When conversations are superficial, when the atmosphere is inadequate, or when intentions are insincere, something within stirs. That unease is not a misfortune. It is affirmation. It is a gentle message reminding you that you are not meant to conform, but to stand out. Let me caution you against a dangerous misconception. There is a pervasive belief that separation is equivalent to isolation. However, this is mistaken. Isolation cuts you off, while separation lifts you up. Isolation depletes your spirit, whereas separation empowers it. Isolation leaves a void, but separation fills that void with vision. To the untrained eye, the two states may appear similar, yet their outcomes are vastly different. When you are separated by divine intention, it isn't abandonment, it is alignment with a higher purpose. So the next time you feel misunderstood, when you are perplexed about your struggle to fit in where others seem at ease, recall this truth. The greater the purpose, the more refined the filtering process. Not everyone can accompany you on your journey. Not everyone can match your stride. Not everyone can withstand the intensity you carry. Consider this. How many times have you sensed you didn't belong, even among a sea of individuals? Did you assume it was isolation? No, it was never isolation. Rather, it was divine separation. It was the purposeful guarding of your unique traits to ensure nothing and no one could dilute the mission intended for you. And here's the twist. Separation is always a precursor to elevation. Every significant figure who was destined for greatness had to traverse this path. Moses endured solitude in the wilderness. David sought refuge in caves. Elijah waited by the brook. Even Jesus endured time in the desert. While they were alone, they were never forsaken. Hidden, yet they remained remembered. Separated, so they could be ready when the calling came. You, my dear chosen one, share in this remarkable journey. Even though the world might not comprehend, friends might question your path, and family might express concern, you do not owe anyone an explanation. Your journey in singleness is not about fulfilling others' timelines or expectations. It is about divine strategy. Embracing this perspective redefines your experience. When you view separation as a vessel for potential and not a burden, everything transforms. Because herein lies the mystery. What you perceive as waiting is actually an accelerated progress in disguise. The more you remain dedicated within your separation, the greater the swiftness at which you will be positioned when the time is right. What seems like a delay is actually a synchronization with divine timing, exceeding human comprehension. Now, as you let this truth seep into your spirit, ponder this once more. Have you felt at odds with the surroundings, even in crowds? That feeling is your signal, your assurance. In the subsequent part, I'll explain why this period of separation isn't merely fortifying your safeguard. It is molding you into a formidable force. Singleness for the chosen isn't a pause in life's soundtrack. It is a battlefield cloaked in serenity, a rigorous training ground masked as a waiting room. Where the world sees inaction, the truth is that profound transformation is transpiring. This phase is where the divine strengthens your spirit, disciplines your thoughts, and eradicates any internal vulnerabilities that might hinder your destiny. It is far from gentle, far from simple, far from calming. It resembles the rigorous training of a soldier who must face trials in private before being sent into the battlefield. Picture a soldier's existence in training camp. They awaken not by choice, but by necessity. They train not by whim, but through perseverance. They are pushed to their extremes, reshaped, refined, until they become an immaculate image of fortitude. That's precisely what is happening to you in this season. While others potentially seek relationships, pursue validation, or meander through distractions, you are in the divine barracks. You are being fashioned by a higher power because your assignment is not for mediocrity. It is for a profound impact that will ripple through time. Herein lies the intricacy of this wisdom. During your single season, you confront challenges that others evade by relying on companionship. When you aren't occupied with someone else, you must face yourself. You face your anxieties, break old habits, and confront the shadows you've avoided. This confrontation is intense, but it is necessary, for you must conquer yourself before conquering greater battles. You cannot transform nations if your inner conflicts remain unresolved. That's why this training demands your full attention. You learn self-regulation in managing your time, emotional resilience, careful speech, purposeful prayers, and dreams. None of these are coincidental. Heaven is honing you with precision. Each bout, each trial, each flame contributes to shaping you into an indestructible entity. Here lies a paradox. Singleness may feel like a slowdown, but it is truly accelerating your journey. Every day spent in this training ground serves as an advanced lesson, sparing you the hardships of heartbreak or regret others might experience later due to lack of preparation. Heaven is providing you with insights early, strengthening your identity before any adversarial forces can challenge it. You are fed resilience, safeguarding you against potential storms that could otherwise shatter fragile spirits. The scriptures provide ample examples of divine preparation. Joseph spent years in incarceration, ignored by society but never by God. Those years of solitude taught him humility, patience, and leadership. When the doors of opportunity opened, he emerged mature, ready to govern an entire nation. Similarly, in his youth, David was isolated in the fields while others enjoyed more visible lives. During this time, he honed his skills, courage, and faith by facing wild beasts. Thus, when Goliath appeared before him, he didn't tremble. He met the challenge with preparedness and faith. Even Jesus, before captivating crowds and performing miracles, undertook 30 quiet years of growth and enlightenment before embarking on a 3-year mission that forever changed humanity. This pattern of heaven holds true. The grandeur of the mission mirrors the tenure of its preparation. You, the chosen one, find yourself in such a pivotal time. This is why the intensity of your singleness feels heavier. The trials you face seem incomprehensible to others. Rest assured, it is not a mark of disregard from the divine. It is the sculptor shaping you into a resilient vessel, someone who can be entrusted with grace and authority, unswayed by personal flaws or fears. Remarkably, this preparation is not just about your own gain. It's also about shedding what doesn't serve your greater purpose. You release the need for constant validation from others, the attraction to superficial connections, and the vulnerability to succumbing under stress. Each release becomes a freedom. With every unnecessary burden set aside, God relieves you of weights that would have slowed you down in your destined path. Your destiny demands you travel light. Understand this. Training has a finite duration. Soldiers do not remain forever in camp. They are molded to be deployed. The same divine hand that places you within this refining furnace will eventually lead you out once you are fully ready. But when you emerge from this season, you won't resemble the person you were at the beginning of your journey. You will have newfound vision, hearing, and spiritual insight. You will wield a genuine authority that cannot be feigned and resilience that cannot be undermined. In this moment, you might feel worn out, grappling with the weighty questions as to why this chapter seems heavy, why battles keep arising, or why silence echoes so loudly. This intense pressure indicates a nearing end, similar to how soldiers are challenged most intensely before they graduate. The greatest opposition emerges right before the dawn of breakthrough. If you're engaging with this content now, it's likely you're closer to your destiny than you think. So, cherish this training rather than view it with disdain. Embrace the silence without resentment. Recognize this singleness not as a penalty but as divine preparation. This training ground is crafting in you the fortitude to stand unshaken where few others can endure. And remember, if Joseph had bypassed his imprisonment, he would not have reached the leadership of a nation. If David had not spent time tending sheep, he would not have confronted Goliath with courage and faith. If Jesus had not valued his years of preparation, the world might never have received redemption. What is the divine purpose for your current quiet season? Because, chosen one, what seems like a delay is truly destiny preparing itself. Not every romantic journey is a blessing in disguise. Some can be deceptive, masked under charm, allure, and the illusion of ease. To those who lack discernment, these appear as gifts. To hearts unprepared, they seem like fate. Yet, for the chosen, they present challenges. These partnerships, if not rightly discerned, can steal precious years, even decades, meant for your higher purpose. In truth, singleness extends beyond a phase of preparation. It acts as a divine shield against unions that resemble light, but are born from shadows. A significant danger facing those who are chosen is not always overt confrontation with the enemy, but rather being subtly ensnared by an unsuitable partner. Understand that adversity doesn't always present itself overtly, but rather through seemingly innocent relationships, appealing words, and comforting encounters that draw you into distraction. While it all feels gratifying, your focus shifts, your vitality ebbs, and gradually, your pursuit of destiny loses clarity. It doesn't take a chaotic intrusion to overthrow your anointing. It merely requires indirect influences to delay your journey, robbing you of critical divine moments. Scripture speaks clearly about this peril, cautioning against being unequally yoked. Visualize two oxen tied together, each pulling in opposite directions. Neither makes any real progress. That is what happens when a chosen one aligns with someone misaligned in vision, values, and spiritual direction. This may be labeled as love, but it effectively sabotages your calling. The partner veering against your purpose doesn't need to hold malice to hinder it. They merely need to prioritize their desires over your divine assignment. Have you ever noticed a relationship, perhaps subtly, that seems to be steering you away from your calling? Have your prayers lessened in length or fervor? Has your passion waned, your focus fragmented? All because someone occupied part of your heart that was meant solely for a divine purpose. Such experiences are not random. They are warnings. Through these moments, heaven gently reminds you that not every union is intended to be a covenant. And here lies a truth that few will openly admit. Some of the riskiest relationships aren't the blatantly toxic ones. They are the reasonable ones that seem harmless, wrapped in kindness, laughter, and attention. These may not stem from malice or ill intentions. They may come from good-hearted people. But goodness is not synonymous with destiny. A well-timed gift still becomes a burden if out of season. Connections born of kindness can still falter if they aren't divinely aligned. The enemy doesn't have to extinguish your bright future abruptly. It is enough to introduce diversions that gradually shift your focus and absorb your determination entirely. That's why many who are chosen feel their lights dim, not through overt attacks but because of quiet entanglements perceived as insignificant. Look through the scriptures. Samson's downfall was not through swords on a battlefield, but through his connection with Delilah, a seemingly safe ally who eventually subdued his strength. Solomon, renowned for wisdom, strayed from his path through alliances with foreign wives who diverted his heart from his God. Even the mightiest can falter through unwise choices of love. Thus, in divine mercy, sometimes the path of singleness is your safeguard, keeping you from enduring the heartache of a misaligned alliance. Chosen one, your mission is far too grand to sideline for the sake of distraction. Your purpose is exceptional and must be preserved with care. Yet, a single misguided partnership can unravel this journey, That is why a higher power looks after you. Some relationships stall despite efforts because a greater force ensures you don't waste years with one who cannot sustain your mission. Heartbreak may initially feel devastating, but rest assured, it may actually be divine intervention. However, such protection requires your awareness and cooperation. While God can close doors, you must refrain from attempting to open them once more. Learn to discern these matters with spirit-led conviction. Reflect on whether a connection draws you nearer to divine truths or further away. Does it sharpen or dull your edge? Does it complement your path or slowly derail it? Destiny rarely collapses with just a single decision. It often erodes over time through small compromises. One missed moment of reflection, one delayed response to an inner calling, one gradual shift in priorities, and before long, you find yourself miles from intended paths. This subtle power of misalignment doesn't announce destruction, but quietly matches its pace with nurture. So, hear this, your period of being single isn't a cast of isolation. It's divine coverage, ensuring that you don't lose precious years to someone who cannot support the magnitude of your mission, protecting you from being tied to a partner who seems like a true ally but ultimately drains your purpose. Have you felt internal pushes and pulls between your calling and a relationship before? Then you likely know deep down that either your destiny must be refocused or the companionship must adjust. Imagine a rocket that cannot ascend if still tied securely to its launch pad. No amount of fuel and fire propelling from beneath will allow its ascent if it remains bound. Similarly, inappropriate personal alliances restrict such liberation, and being single is a step towards gently severing these cords. When divinely protected, the profound question emerges: who truly aligns with you for when divine timing unveils partnership? Modern thinking often distorts focus, leading us off course. Multitasking might seem celebrated, but divided attention offers little when reaching for something great. Your journey toward destiny cannot proceed smoothly if much of your energy is diverted toward appeasing another. You cannot pour wholly into the divine mission laid before you if interruptions consistently draw your mind and spirit away. This is why singleness stands as a remarkably empowering stance for those chosen, providing freedom. Free to focus completely. Free to accelerate forward with enthusiasm. Free to commit fully to your purpose without the need for compromise. Envision running a marathon with a rucksack weighed down by stones. Each step feels sluggish, each breath labored. The course you're meant to race with vigor becomes an arduous trudge. Such is the consequence of scattered focus, which diminishes progress and erodes joy. However, unencumbered running with focused intent allows for empowering strides. Where each step gains ground, others can merely aspire to traverse. This freedom of singleness is not an absence, it is forward momentum. While many succumb to minor conflicts or pursuits of fleeting pleasure, you're honing your talents. While others might seek immediate validation, your vision remains fixed. Here's the sacred truth. Once you halt pursuing blessings, they begin hunting you. Blessings aren't meant to be stalked. They're drawn to consistent purpose. Paul, the Apostle, referenced this perspective, highlighting how singles can immerse themselves entirely into divine intentions, while married individuals, courtesy of necessary partnership, must balance between divine will and a partner's desires. He wasn't degrading marital bonds, rather offering a revelation. The single season is one of concentrated impact. It's a unique period in life where your vision need not be diluted, negotiated, or modified to sync with another's stride. It is about you, your purpose, and your divine calling. When these three harmonize, no barrier stands a chance against your progress. But let's explore further. True focus transcends time management, venturing into spiritual clarity. With singleness comes the removal of unnecessary compromises that dampen your discernment. Your creativity soars as your mind enjoys uninhibited dreaming. Your prayers grow in authority, unhampered by doubtful distraction. For those chosen, focus isn't merely a luxury. It's essential for survival. This urgency intensifies as we dwell in a world structured around distraction, endless noise, limitless choices, and innumerable invitations to squander time and fragment energy. If not destroyed outright, the enemy seeks to distract into stagnation. That's why divine protection cloaked in singleness exists to safeguard your focus. Because distractions render the chosen harmless, while true focus morphs them into an unstoppable force. Visualize sunlight, warm but non-threatening when dispersed across a wide area. However, concentrated through a magnifying lens, that light transforms, igniting flames. Your focus, similar to this magnifying power, scattered energy fosters busyness with limited effectiveness, whereas concentrated determination challenges darkness, delay, and obstacles. That focus, cultivated in singleness, allows you to harness all your inner fire aimed in one purposeful direction until barriers shatter. Perhaps you've perceived this clarity. During solitary years, you've likely observed ideas flowing more readily. In periods of solitude away from emotional turbulence, you might have noticed doors swinging open more effortlessly. When immersing yourself entirely in divine quests, perhaps opportunities present themselves to you without solicitation. Such events bear witness to acceleration. Heaven has a way of responding to focus. It multiplies your momentum once clear dedication is observed. Yet know this warning: acceleration without direction can lead to calamity. A car can surge forward only on a clear path piloted by attentive handling. Divided direction turns speed into costly errors, which is why God prioritizes singleness first, ensuring your focus is secure before amplifying your power. He understands that tremendous speed without purpose risks destruction, but once assured of your focus, the resulting swift acceleration will astonish others. Feel this deeply. Every prayer uttered in this season secures your trajectory. Every disciplined act strengthens your inner engine. Every sacrifice fuels enduring momentum. Though it might not be visible yet, heaven orchestrates a harmonious setup for a future where everything aligns. When that destined moment arrives, your progress will not slumber toward fruition. It will explode. What others may toil decades to realize, you will accomplish in years. What others strive to maintain, you will execute with grace. True focus inevitably leads to expeditious movement. Picture a bow with an arrow, tension building upon the drawback, an imagery of preparation. This pullback phase may feel confining, yet simultaneously builds potential strength. The further the bowstring is drawn, the greater potential for swift release when aimed. Your season of singlehood mirrors this drawn bowstring. It feels like limitation, yet cultivates latent power. When the time comes for divine release, the swiftness of acceleration will carry you beyond hindrance. Thus, the crucial inquiry arises: are you willing to embrace the pullback? Will you honor the focus and safeguard your acceleration? In doing so, you prepare yourself for a future where your life embodies unstoppable dynamism. Now, consider this. Chosen one. If singlehood represents focus and rapid progress, what awaits should divine timing prompt your next phase? Being single involves far more than awaiting company. It isn't spent in stillness anticipating that someone else will render you complete. Instead, dear chosen one, your solitary time is a hallowed chamber, a crucible of transformation. Here is where you evolve. Here, you become the steward of self-mastery. Here, your spirit learns unwavering resilience. If prior chapters entailed separation, training, and forward momentum, the current chapter beckons something even deeper: profound peace. A harmony so entrenched nothing can shake it away. Through this foundation of inner peace, you gain steadfastness. The truth is that the world thrives on clamorous noise. Restless rushing surrounds announcements, competitions, and facades. Most chart their significance amidst chaos, measuring worth by attention received. However, for those chosen, a legacy is neither shaped nor sustained amidst such noise. Rather, it is molded within quietude. It is crafted during the unseen years, times when applause is absent, when recognition eludes you, and when festivities may not celebrate you. Nevertheless, heaven observes and records each step you take. In your singlehood, you cultivate emotional warmth. This is where reliance on others' affirmations is no longer needed to feel valued. Your core worth is discerned through assignment, not through external acknowledgments. Here you learn. Peace is not about life's absence of turbulence, but about maintaining balance through storms. This peace, dear chosen one, is not mere comfort, but a formidable tool. When fortified with inner peace, external distractions lose allure, manipulation loses its pull, and challenges lose their volume. But a deeper look reveals that legacy is born from these silent, unseen moments. Tomorrow's leaders are not made on stages, but honed in solitude. The creativity of future melodies finds its roots in today's quiet beginnings. The authority you'll carry originates from enduring battles fought when no one is observing. Consider Moses' 4 decades in the wilderness before leading his people. Consider Joseph's emergence from cells to rule a kingdom. Consider Esther's transformation in preparation for royal destiny. Every notable figure endured obscurity, for transformation traditionally unfolds within before public revelations. What exactly is taking shape in you during this quiet period? 3 fundamental elements: clarity, resilience, and legacy. With clarity, your vision sharpens as you experience singlehood. You no longer drown in someone else's expectations or get sidetracked by life's distractions. You begin to listen to your own heart and, more importantly, discern the divine voice. Once you recognize that voice within the silence, no external chaos can deter you in the future. Resilience grows with every moment you stand alone, becoming an unseen strength. Praying privately cultivates internal fires, and enduring solitude without collapse molds an unyielding character. Such resilience is vital when the chosen face challenges that may cause others to fall. Lastly, legacy is what you're building now beyond yourself, meant to echo through the ages. Every skill you enhance, every lesson learned, every prayer offered, every solitary pursuit. All of these contribute to an enduring inheritance. Singleness isn't wasted time, it's an investment. Investments inherently grow and multiply. But realize this revelation: if you cannot govern yourself in silence, you cannot lead others amid noise. If you cannot cultivate internal calm, you cannot propagate external peace. Leadership doesn't start when followers appear. It begins when you follow discipline, wisdom, and purpose in life's hidden corners. That's why this time holds such significance. God is not merely readying you for influence, but shaping you for an impact that outlasts your lifetime. A genuine legacy extends beyond wealth, fame, or acclamation. It is measured by transformation, by the lives altered because you existed. Such a profound legacy can only emerge from someone self-aware, someone who withstood silence without faltering, someone skilled at standing with divine presence, deriving peace inherent there. So I pose this question to you: how do you spend your singlehood? Are comparisons, jealousy, incessant scrolling, and complaints squandering it? Or are you focusing on fostering peace, discipline, and growth? The contrast between a squandered phase and a remarkable one isn't measured in time, but in intention. The years others deem void, you can transform into solid foundations. These foundations will support everything you later build. Right now, you might be feeling the weight of solitude or perplexing lack of recognition or understanding. Let me share something enlightening. Heaven often accomplishes its most profound work in hushed settings. Diamonds are cultivated in shadows, seeds develop underground, and precious oils are distilled away from onlookers. So are you, cherished one, embracing this refining moment. It may feel isolating, yet it heralds legacies, ones waiting to manifest richly. So do not scorn the quietude. Resist the urge to hasten from this chapter, thought not as chastisement, but as those divine moments where your narrative gains its potential. Embracing this offers the opportunity to gift more than personal peace. You become bearers of peace for others. You learn strength develops not merely for yourself, but for future generations too. Your life will extend beyond merely existing. It will form a sustained legacy. Let the compelling thought linger. If moments spent concealed hold such formidable power, imagine the awakening when higher powers decide it's time for your unveiling. Dear chosen one, your singlehood is not a detention. It is a divine workshop in which your strength, wisdom, and identity coalesce. This is not about lacking something. It's about the extraordinary transformation underway. You are neither forgotten nor left behind. You are being prepared under divine cover. The unspoken quiet holds not emptiness but the sound of divine shaping, priming you for formidable outcomes others may falter under. The world may pressure you, others may not understand. Voices may suggest you trail behind or remain incomplete amidst missed opportunities. Nonetheless, the divine watches, knowing you are not deprived but built stronger. You are trained for something celestial, elevating your essence so radiant that doubts and disbeliefs will yield to your distinguished path. Here is the insight to engrave within your heart. Your season of being single was never about delays or denial. It was intended for your most profound preparation. The solitary journeys endured become reservoirs of strength. Tears shed quietly are blessings infused. Nights fraught with weighty silence are seeds soon bursting forth with splendor. Today, declare with assurance and clarity, I welcome my divine preparation. Set this intention as a testament of prophetic alignment. As these words find voice, confidence will rise, confusions will dissipate, and resilience will emerge. When embraced in its fullness, what once seemed a weakness evolves into empowerment. Recall always, singlehood was never your shortcoming. It remains your most potent tool. Forge ahead, cherished one. Carry your inner flame, delve into your calling, and transform paths touched by your journey. Your training reaches its crescendo, welcoming an era of revelation. I invite you now, affirm your readiness and transformation. Let this quiet strength be known to all.